Hey everybody, welcome back into this Boozin kitchen. I'm Shelia Edwards and I am here today to help your day peak on up. Because you know, even with the most peaked day, there's always a little bit of more that can be added to the top of that peakness. Guess what I got for you? I found this loaf of French bread in Walmart, just $1. But you know the goodness that can come out of $1 loaf of French bread. Yes! Today, we're going to be making bread pudding. And you know it's going to be a little boozy in this kitchen. So let's get over here on the counter, get this bread pudding put together. We get it in the oven, and we're going to be eating in no time. Meet me over there on the counter. I've already started tearing up my loaf of bread here, loaf of French bread, and getting it into my bowl. Now you cut this up into cubes or whatever way you desire, but I've always just torn up my bread and got it in there. Now to this loaf of bread, I'm going to have a quart of milk. Now if you use whole milk, you're fine, but I normally drink almond milk. So since I drink almond milk, let's spill out there. I drink almond milk, and I feel almond milk is a little thin for this recipe. So that was just 2 cups I already poured in there. So this is my almond milk right here. See that? Okay, so I'm just going to I'm going to put 1 cup of almond milk, just because I think it's a little thin. And to that, I am adding 1 cup of this half and half. But like I said, if you already drink whole milk, then you're fine in just putting that in there. So that gives me 2 more cups of milk. So that's my quart. And I'm going to go ahead and pour this in on this bread. Great. Now, to that, I'm going to add 3 eggs. I already have my 3 eggs here, and I'm just going to go ahead and beat them up a little bit. And put them in there. To that, I am adding 2 cups of sugar. Just regular sugar here. You might say that is a little much, but no, that's what you need. Sweeten up that bread. And then I'm going to press this down just a little bit to get it all in my milk. And you're going to see your bread change after it sits for a while and all these ingredients start to come together. I'm just going to move it around just a little bit there. And all I'm doing is just pressing my bread down in that milk. Okay, to that I'm adding 2 tablespoons, and I'm using, that's my booze, y'all. I'm using this Bailey's Irish cream. Now, I like using this. It has that Irish whiskey in it. Now, if you don't want that, you can just use, if you don't have that, you can just use 2 tablespoons of whiskey. And you say, I don't want that kind of alcohol. I need some flavoring. Then just use vanilla. But you know that vanilla has alcohol in it also. Okay? So we got our flavoring in there. Now, to this last thing I'm going to add to this right here is raisins. Now, I like having some kind of fruit in my bread pudding. If you don't like raisins, I have made this with a cup of crushed pineapples or a cup of peaches. Cut them up a little bit. Put some peaches in there. But I just think the bread pudding kind of comes through with raisins or some type of fruit in it. So I chose raisins. We're at the front of the pantry this morning. So I said, come on, raisins. Today is your day. You get to start in this bread pudding. Now you can already see the bread is breaking down and becoming very soft. Now, once this sits, and some people do this mixture, and you can do this also. Get this mixture and let it sit overnight in the refrigerator, and by the morning it's ready. You just stir it up and go ahead and put it in the pan and put it in the oven. But for right now, I've just put mine together. I'm gonna let it sit for probably about I'm just gonna let it sit for 30 minutes right here on my counter and let everything go ahead and come together, and then we'll be putting it into our buttered pan and getting it in the oven. Okay, so we've got our butter to melt. I put 3 tablespoons of butter into my pan, and I'm using a 13 by 9 pan for my bread pudding. Okay, so I'm gonna bring my bread pudding over here so you can see what it's looking like now. And the bread has kind of broken down, the raisins, and I've been letting this sit now for right at 30 minutes. And this, of course, I just said 3 tablespoons of butter, and it melted in a 325-degree oven, because that's the temperature that I'm going to be cooking this bread pudding. So I'm going to go ahead and pour it into the pan. Okay. Get it spread out there. And some people put that butter into the bread pudding, and that's okay too, but you need some in that pan to keep it from sticking, and it also adds that flavor and that crunchiness, or that caramely type taste to the bottom of the pudding. So there we have it in this pan. And what I like to do, once I have my bread pudding in the pan, is I like to sprinkle a little bit of nutmeg and a little bit of cinnamon on the very top of it. So we just go just a little bit. See, I light, I'm holding up high, you know, so it's just like, that's my cinnamon. And now I'm gonna put a little nutmeg. Ooh, Lord, all I got is a little nutmeg. So I'm gonna put in what I got. Come on, get on. There you go. Yep, just what I got. Look at that. Just the right amount. I knew I should have picked up some nutmeg at the store. But that's just enough. And that comes to less than, it's not even a half a teaspoon, much less, because you don't want a lot of nutmeg in too many things. But cinnamon and everything is just right. So now I'm going to take this pudding, I'm going to put it back into the oven, and it's going to bake for about 45 minutes. And then when it comes out, we're going to put a whiskey sauce on top of this. And I'm going to go back and find my video where I showed you all how to make the whiskey sauce. Remember, it's on my video with the waffle. The waffle with ice cream on top, and has a whiskey sauce on top of the waffle. So I'm gonna go get that piece of video, put it in here so you can see how to make the whiskey sauce, because that's what's gonna go on top of this bread pudding when it comes out of the oven. Okay, 45 minutes in, and then we're ready for whiskey sauce. What I'm showing you here is how I'm making this whiskey sauce. In this double boiler, I have a stick of butter, which is about a half cup, not about, but it is a half cup of butter. And I have a cup of sugar in here. And I'm gonna cook this together for about 10 minutes, and that way it's gonna be really hot by then, and the sugar will have melted. And at that point, I'm going to add my egg, 1 egg to this, and that 1 egg is gonna help this to thicken up and give it more like a custard type feel, or type look rather. And I'm ready to add my egg to this hot mixture. But now you know when you're adding egg to a hot mixture, you can't just dump the egg right in there. You have to basically take some of the hot mixture, put it into the egg to temper temper the egg with that the temperature of that mixture, and then you can pour your egg in there. So I'm getting it in there, and that way your egg won't scramble on you. And you work it in there so it won't scramble. Even with you doing that, you get a little bit on the side, it'll still try to scramble on you a little bit, but that's why I'm just going to keep stirring it and stirring it until I get it well in there. Alright, so it's in there and still trying to scramble a little bit, but we're getting it. Alright, so now I'm ready to go ahead and add my whiskey in here, and it's about 1/8 a cup of whiskey that I'm using, and I'm going to let this cook for about a minute in this sauce to burn off some of that alcohol, and then we're going to turn it off and this sauce will be ready. Okay, this sauce is ready, and I've turned the eye off on the stove, and this is what we want to see. So our bread pudding is out of the oven where it has been cooking for 45 minutes. And now what we're going to do, this is a little of the whiskey sauce, and I'm just going to go ahead and pour this over our pudding like so. I don't know if I said this pudding, but this is the whiskey sauce, sorry. And that's it. And now what I'm going to do is take this and just sit it back in the hot oven. The oven is turned off, and I'm going to put this back in the oven where everything is just going to come together with this pudding. Isn't that a beautiful thing? I'm going to put this back in the warm oven and let it sit there, and then we'll be ready to taste this in just a moment. Okay, y'all, the bread pudding is done, and so am I. This is just a wonderful whiskey bread pudding here. I cannot say too much about it, but it's just good. We're probably gonna have to invent our own dictionary after some of this cooking, because some of this food, I tell y'all, it is beyond good, just beyond good. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and enjoy my bread pudding. Once you cook it, I'm sure you're going to enjoy it too. And again, I want to thank you all. So grateful for those of you who have subscribed, those of you who have not hit that subscribe button already, please go ahead and do that for me. And right now, I'm going to go ahead and finish this good old bread pudding. Y'all have a good rest of your day. Make it peak, okay? Bye-bye, y'all.